Hi, my name's Zoe, and today I want to talk to you about some strange and disturbing horror books. So it's been a little while since I've done a video, so I feel like I'm a little bit out of practice, so do forgive me for that. But I thought I would come back and give you 3 recommendations of books that you can add to your, Amazon wish list, not an ad, or any kind of wish list that you want to do. So, first up on the list, we have Snuff by Chuck Palahniuk. So if you haven't seen any of my other videos, then I am a big fan of Chuck Palahniuk, and his book Haunted is one of my very, very favourites. So Snuff is about Cassie, who is a porn actress, and she wants to break her record for fucking the most men on camera, and her goal is 600 men in one take, which, I don't know, that is a lot if I'm thinking about it. But hey, you do you, Cassie, you make your choices. The book is written from the perspectives of 3 of those men that are waiting patiently in the green room to get their chance to have sex with Cassie. It's quite disturbing in the way that it comes across. It's also really, really funny. It's obviously written as a very, very dark comedy, but I think it gives us a really good perspective on perhaps how we often view porn actresses and porn stars, sometimes as a piece of meat. And I also think it talks a lot about celebrity obsession, and how we as humans sometimes feel entitled to certain people, or that we have a connection with them even though we have not met them, and we certainly don't. It's quite heartbreaking, it's quite sad, and it's really disgusting in places. There's a lot of, as to be expected with a book about serial fornication, there are a lot of bodily fluids described, and there were parts of that book where I was just like, ooh, yeah, maybe enough come for one day. But it's a fantastic read, so I highly recommend that one. Next up, we have Exquisite Corpse by Poppy Z. Bright. And I would just like to start by saying what an exquisite cover this is. Very beautiful. And this one it's a really interesting book, actually. And I thought it was a bit of a blend between American Psycho and In the Miso Soup, 2 books that I've spoken about in previous videos as well. So do be sure to check those out. This one is beautifully written. The prose in there is stunning, even though it is so graphic in terms of the gore and the violence in there. It follows 2 sets of homosexual men who are really into disturbing shit, basically. They like violence, they like blood, they like guts, and I have a feeling that this might have been inspired by Jeffrey Dahmer a little bit. Not just saying that because of everything I've just mentioned, but there's also a little bit of a intro, I'm talking very, very short little quote about how they used to keep Jeffrey Dahmer shackled up because they were so terrified of him when he was in prison. So I have a feeling it might have been inspired by him and his crimes, and his sexuality. But yeah, it's a really fascinating read, and I think it really gets into the minds of these men and their lust for blood and the body and flesh. And I just found it, in parts, it's horrifically hard to read, and I think everyone might struggle in parts because there were sections of it where I was like, I need a little breather from that one. But yeah, if you're looking for something really disturbing and that goes very, very deep and detailed into the gore and violence carried out and inflicted on the human body, then Exquisite Corpse is going to be the one for you. Then Next up we have, so this, I recently went back to my dad's house and remembered this book. I'd actually forgotten all about it, and probably for good reason, you know. So this is Magic Terror by Peter Straub, and it is 8 short stories, all kind of like horror or thriller stories. And I read this when I was a teenager, so it was just on my parents' bookcase. And I grabbed it off one day and I was like, that looks like my kind of bag. The first story is called Ashputtel. And it is weird as fuck. Let me just put it that way. So essentially, this is kind of just about this woman who decides to basically take a shit on the concrete and pick it up and start rubbing it on stuff. And I know there's a lot more to it than that, but that is the best way I can describe that first story. And I have to say, like, that really messed me up. I did not expect to be going into it reading that. And yeah, I just remember casually being like, I'm gonna put that to the side. And I'm not going to read too much of that, but there are other horror, supernatural, creepy stories in there. I think it's a really fantastic book if you're looking for little digestible sections. I know sometimes it's quite difficult to sit and get through an entire book, so this is quite nice because there's obviously, you can take a little break in between the stories, especially after you've just read about a woman kind of smearing herself in her own shit. But you know, that certainly makes for a disturbing tone. It's not quite Salo, but you know, it's close enough, I guess. I think anything with poop kind of gets into the books of depravity, I suppose. So that has been another 3 books that you can put on your wish list. Do let me know what disturbing books you'd recommend. I have got a big pile that I'm about to start reading, so I will have some more recommendations for you soon. But I like to read the books first, make sure I am not just chatting shit to you. Do leave a comment, subscribe, put a thumbs up if you liked this, thumbs down if you thought it was crap, because honestly it probably is crap. Do also let me know what other kind of videos you'd like to see. Do you want more movie recommendations, more book recommendations? Do you want to see a bit of my collection, which is super small? But as ever, thank you so much for watching. Do follow me on all my social media channels, and until next time, enjoy your creepy reading.